Good evening and welcome into the Mafia cast, brought to the fans by the fans, and this is your one-stop shop for all things Bills every single week. Now here are your hosts, Mike Yanni, Ronnie Eastham, and Casey Cita.
Welcome in, Bills Mafia. Welcome to another episode of the Mafia cast. It looks like I'm going to do my very best impersonation of Bruce Nolan from the Bruce exclusive here. So Casey, you're kind of sort of on your own, but you're not.
Dude, this is cracking me up. I feel like I'm talking to a ghost. I feel like you're talking to me like you're trying to guide me through life after you pass away. And like that, I don't know. It's like the voice of God right now.
You know, maybe that's what this has always been.
Yeah. Well, please help me. My wife is 20 weeks pregnant now, so I'm going to need a lot of guidance from here on out, buddy.
I got you. How you doing today?
Good. I mean, it's Thursday night football. I've been excited all day, but it was work and then baby appointment, and then I was able to come home, play with the dogs, hang out with the wife for a little bit. Then I was like, then we got the podcast and then football. Like it catches up to you, like at least up to me, like so quickly when we play on Thursdays, because it's you wait around all day on Sunday morning, like just waiting for 1:00. But then Thursdays, you're just busy all day. And don't get me wrong, like I'm stoked for this game, but like it's like, oh, like I don't know. It's just I just have a weird feeling with Thursdays.
Well, hopefully it's a good weird feeling today. I know this Dolphins are favored by 2.5. I believe was the last line that I saw on that. John, yes, no camera today. I don't know why. For whatever reason, my camera is on yet not working. So it's one of those great IT wonders. So we're going to move forward as is. I need to get the picture there of me, of my whatever.
Your big head?
Where it pulses, so that when I talk, it pulses, because that's what Bruce does. So I got to figure that out next.
Well, hopefully you don't have to do this anymore. Hopefully we can get it figured out.
I'll hopefully figure this thing out. But so yeah, big game tonight. We got about an hour-ish. Probably kick off around 8:15, 8:20, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, a little, I guess, news from myself. Some of you may have already seen it, but I am now officially joined with the Sports Illustrated team in writing about the Bills. So continue that writing content for us. I'm looking forward and excited to that. I wrote my first piece today, and it is live. So, but it's a score prediction piece, so I'm not gonna ruin anything just yet. We'll save that for later in the show.
Well, tell everybody where they can go find it and everything. Come on now, Papa Ron. You know how to do this. We're not super amateurs anymore.
Well, so the site is out. It's si.com/NFL/Bills, if you can remember all of that. But that's the site for Buffalo Bills on SI. That's where the articles will be going up, along, of course, with some other people. Some people may know Uber Hansen is one of the writers. A lot of his work is on Twitter and social media. Greg Vorse is on there as well. So there's some really good writers. It's a great team to be a part of. I'm super excited about doing that. So, yeah.
Well, we're all again. I know I can speak for Mike on this when I say we're very proud of you. We know the struggle that it's been for you, like just company to company, and this happening, that happening, and for whatever reason, it's been a grind, but you are a great writer. That's how all this whole podcast started, from you writing articles and then running into me, and the next thing you know, a couple of dummies split off and try to do their own thing.
The key word, they're trying. We're trying.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's all you can do, right? But I'm proud of you as a friend. I mean, you work really hard at this. You're really dedicated. And I'm excited to see the stuff that you write this year.
Awesome. Thank you. See, that's why I don't have the camera on. Wink, wink. because now I've got little tears rolling down.
I just hope you're wearing a shirt and pants. That's all I like. Because if that camera does pop back on and you are shirtless, Mike's making a TikTok so quick.
That would not go viral. That would probably burn everybody's eyeballs, and people would be suing me for blindness. Definitely not a sight anybody wants to see. Let's get into this football game, all right? That was way off track. So yeah, tonight we talked about last week's game first of all on Monday, and the Bills have a chance to get to 2-0 tonight. I know it seems like kind of I guess the vibe that I've been getting from Bills Mafia in general is not a good one. A lot of people are nervous about this game. And then, of course, there's those that are super optimistic, and Buffalo's going 17-0 regardless. Where are you at in that spectrum? I mean, we got two different ends over here.
I mean, I'm definitely not the going 17-0 like dummy.
You're no fan.
I understand, yes, always having confidence in your team, but I mean, part of doing a podcast is also trying to be as truthful and realistic as you can be. And there's no way, nobody's going 17-0. Going to end up going 20-0. I don't think that will ever happen. I mean, we're playing the Dolphins, who in the second game of the season. That's the part that I dislike the most about it. I last year playing in week 4, I thought was perfect. To me, that's enough. Getting your feet wet, figuring out exactly who you are, and then we hit the ground running. Well, we thought we hit the ground running after that game last year. But week 2, you're still trying to figure out who you are as a team, which can be Buffalo's benefit because they only have one game on tape with this new look offense and all these new pieces. So that can definitely be a benefit to us. But, same thing with Miami on their defense. They have so many different pieces on their defense and a new defensive coordinator. So how are those two new offenses and defenses going to mesh up and go against each other? That's what I'm nervous about tonight. Which one of those is going to win?
Yeah, there's definitely some unknowns there. I think one of the things that I'm not really seeing and there's been a little bit of mention of it, but that's the potential of Jordan Poyer and the effect of having him. There's nobody on that Miami defense that knows Josh Allen better than Poyer. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to play out. And I would not be shocked if Buffalo just comes out and just runs the ball down the Dolphins' throat. Try to force Poyer into the box and make him come down and stop the run, or help them stop the run. And then maybe at that point they can start getting some stuff over the top with maybe MVS and some of those guys.
I mean, I think that's their game plan pretty much anyway from this point out is, to really pound the rock and try to – I think we're going to see more play action than we did last game. And we only saw 4 play action plays. I think it'll be more than just one wide receiver and MVS lined up on the left side and either running a comeback or a go route. That same exact play with 2 different routes ran by the same guy was 2 out of those 4 play action plays. So I think they're going to really try to pound the rock and try to feed off that play action because Miami, for all their new pieces and as fast as their offense is, their defense isn't lightning fast. We were all saying Jordan Poyer looked a little bit slower last year, trying to cover deep. Jalen Ramsey's never been a burner. He's just been all around a great player. Kendall Fuller, same thing. He's not the fastest guy. Javon Holland, not the fastest guy. Kader Kohu, same thing. So I would like to see us try to get a little bit more vertical, try to beat Miami at their own game and get a little bit more vertical when we do pass or run more crossing routes.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that those crossing routes is something that Khalil Shakir excels at. One of the things that stood out to me, if you saw all the clips and everything, there's a lot of, not necessarily concern, but a lot of questions about Dalton Kincaid and where were the targets and the production. there were some of those clips where they had 3 or 4 guys surrounding him, which is just crazy to me. I guess in a way it kind of makes sense because they obviously thought that the offense would go through Kincaid, and they thought, let's stop this guy. They got nothing. But I think the Bills proved otherwise. I think they showed that they really can be an everyone eats type of offense and be really, really successful at that.
Yeah, I think all the Green Bay comparisons are going to be the most spot on for how Buffalo's building this team to where they beat you a million ways. I mean, what? Green Bay has Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, and their best receiver in Jordan Reed. Then they have Jaden Reed, excuse me, and then they have Musgrave and Kraft at tight end with Josh Jacobs at running back. I mean, that there's nobody who is top 5 at their position, but they have a bunch of very good guys. So a defense can't just key in on these guys. And I was thinking about it today. I was like, you want Jalen Ramsey to come in and shut down a Stephon Diggs, to shut down, a Tyreek Hill. You're the number one on your team. We don't have anybody that he can just be like, all right, I'm taking him away from the game. No, they don't he's not going to be able to know exactly where 7 targets this game are going to be going. He might not get targeted at all. He might get hyper targeted. That's the beauty of this new look offense is defenses just don't know anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's going to help to open up some of those other guys underneath. And we look at last week's game. There was a deep throw to Scantling. He was open. He had a step. Allen overthrew him. A lot of those underneath stuff and some of those cross and post and things of that nature, our guys were running wide open. They were easy throws for Josh to make. And I don't know if we're going to see that again this game because we don't. It'll be interesting, like I said, to see what the Dolphins defense does. Will they try to mimic what the Cardinals did, or will they try something completely different? I think you have to try something different because what the Cardinals did not work. They gave up 34 points, I believe, and
Right.
If not for a couple of miscues early in the game, Buffalo probably puts up 40 plus.
Yeah, my last thought on that Cardinals game is if they don't get that call again for Kyler Murray,
Yeah,
they only get those 3 points, and our offense doesn't come out as flat as it does. I think that was just such a deflating call because it was so wrong that I think the Bills try to kind of overcompensate for it and try to push through it too hard. And that's when they started making mistakes. And then when they finally calmed down and relaxed, you saw them pick up on both sides of the ball. But I think if that kick never happens, I bet you that game is probably, like you said, 38-40-10.
yeah, there were definitely a couple of moments in there. One, of course, like you mentioned, the egregious roughing the passer call or personal foul, whatever they called it. I think that the fumble by Allen was obviously big because we were moving the ball at that point as well,
Yeah.
seemingly with ease too. And then that one moment turned the ball over, and then the kick return. Those 3 things right there, you take those and flip them the other way, it's a blowout. It's not even close. I'm not saying that that's going to happen tonight as far as being a blowout. We know Buffalo has won. I think it's 11 out of 13 with Allen at the helm. One of
11
those
out
in
of
the
12.
playoff. What's that?
11 out of 12.
Is it 11 out of 12?
Yep. Sorry, I just want to make
I
sure
saw
he gets that couple extra percentage points in there.
I saw 10-2 earlier, not counting the playoffs. So, but either way, we know it's a lot, and they are averaging wins by I believe 14.5 points per for each one of those. For whatever reason, the Dolphins don't play well against Buffalo, with the exception of that one hot Miami game a couple of years
And
ago.
they also didn't play well. They put up 21 points, and Tua, I think, 21 points, and I think their offense only put up 7 of them. So they got lucky.
Yeah. Well, and even so, when we look at last week's game with the Dolphins, they won that game 20-17 against Jacksonville. is Jacksonville's defense that good? Or I can't recall exactly what it's something with the motion that the NFL said you can't do that anymore, and that was a big deal for how the Dolphins run their offense. I can't remember exactly what it was, but something to do with putting
So
guys in motions pre-snap, I believe, or something to that effect.
in the motion, just so their shoulders have to be perpendicular to the line. Because you remember watching last year, Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all these guys would start curving up just at the end, right as they're above the tight end. They started going upfield a slight bit, and refs weren't calling it. I mean, it was blatant multiple times, and so that's what they put into motion this year. Is that if you move forward at all, and they're basing it on the alignment of your chest.
Yeah, so I do wonder if that was uh, part of what impacted their offense last week. Because aside from that 80-yard Tyreek Hill run, I don't know that they would have won that game. The offense just seemed to be clicking like it has in the past initially. So I can see potentially where this game could get out of hand for the Dolphins, especially if our front four can get after Tua. We know he's not a scrambler. And I did see today that if, oh my gosh, name's drawing blank, Greg Rousseau, if he gets a couple of sacks tonight, he will tie Bruce Smith for Bill's record for the most sacks in the first 2 games of the season. It's pretty impressive.
Especially for somebody who everybody thought wasn't going to be who didn't had hopes but not expectations that he was going to be this good this quick this year.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting that you say that, because I've seen some other stuff talking about some scouts were saying he would have been a top 10 pick had he not sat out that year. I believe it was the COVID year he sat out. So
Yep.
So it's strange to me that somebody that clearly scouts believe has that kind of talent, yet still falls. Just because a person sits out for a year, especially at his age, doesn't mean he suddenly can't play anymore.
Well, he had only played defensive end for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's why, he, was it just, blind squirrel finds a nut that year? He had 15 sacks in his first year starting at Miami at defensive end. But at that same time, they also had Jalen Phillips on the other side. So it's like, oh, which one of these two monsters are you going to stop? Defense has chosen to go at Jalen Phillips. So the potential was there. I mean, you could see the traits. He's monstrous. He has every aspect of a defensive end that you would want. And he was already a great run stopper. He just needed to be refined. So I think people were just worried that okay, he only had 2 years under his belt at defensive end, and then he sat out a year. How much did that stunt his growth? And people just weren't willing to bet that he would work as hard as he has.
Yeah, and he's definitely worked hard, and I know that a lot of his teammates have commented on that this offseason, talking about he's going to be a monster this year, and he just looks different. So far, we've seen it. I mentioned it last on Monday night show. That game against the Cardinals just felt different from him. It's not like it was, oh, look, there's a flash of him. There's a play from him. It really felt like he was the guy. It's hard to explain. It just, when watching him, though, he looked like he was just playing football and doing his thing. In the past, it was almost kind of like he was still thinking. And I think that's a big part of what's kind of changed for him, is he's no longer thinking and just doing. So it's great to see, and I do expect more of that tonight. I do. I think he goes out there and balls out. Will he get 2 sacks and match that record? I don't know. I sure hope so, though.
I mean, he usually does play well in Miami. I mean, his rookie year, I think it was the second game of the year or first game of the year, something like that, came out and absolutely balled out. I think he had 2 sacks in that game. And last year, I believe he had a sack, or maybe even 2. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, with Von Miller playing as well as he has, and Epinesa taking a step forward, and Ed Oliver, they have to focus more so on the interior because he's so good and they're so weak on the interior that maybe the center and guards have to help each other more, and it gives our defensive ends more one-on-one opportunities tonight. that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be huge. Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, and then we'll get into some of the kind of the keys of the game.
Hey, this is John from Game On Video Games and Sports Memorabilia. We are Rochester's premier trading card store. We have a wide selection of trading cards, autographs, and memorabilia. We also do autograph and celebrity appearances in the store. So if you're looking for the perfect gift for yourself, relative that doesn't like the Bills, or for a friend, come down and check us out at our Rochester location, 2670 Dewey Avenue, or our Hamburg location at 1 Buffalo Street. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Hey, if you're listening to this right now, do us a favor. Jump over to YouTube if you're not already there. Hit the subscribe and the like button. Tell your friends, as Casey would say. We're trying to grow this thing into something a little bit bigger. And if we don't, then we don't. So
who knows? It's just fun talking with you. My wife's happy. It keeps me out of her ear talking about all this stuff.
I know, right? So this game, if there was a couple of things that you had to really pinpoint as the key to a victory, what would you be looking at?
I mean, it'll always be pushing the pocket on Tua, making him uncomfortable, and just keeping that offense out of time, like off rhythm, because like that's all that time, all that offense is about is timing. And I'm not saying like I've always appreciated Tua for what he is. He's an accurate quarterback who can be good if put in the right situation, and it just so happens that that's in the same division as us. So like but if you can push him and keep him off his first and second read, then you can make him, make mistakes and hold on to the ball and let our defensive line get home. Luckily, he doesn't have to worry about Matt Milano this game, unfortunately for us, lucky for him. But so just pushing the pocket, staying home on defense, not giving up a bunch of, like giving into a bunch of the eye candy that they like to do, trying to hide Tyreek Hill behind the offensive line and stuff like that. Just being, staying true to your job and to quote mine and Mike's old coach, Mr. DeSanza, just staying home and doing your job and not being the GOAT.
Yeah, I think with the defensive line, Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver need to have a big game. I don't say they need to have a big game, but if they have a big game, I think it's going to spell a lot of trouble for Tua, because if they have a hard time controlling those two in the middle of that defensive line, it's going to really open up things for Epinesa, for Von Miller, and of course Rousseau on the edges. So, and I did see that they activated Kingsley for this game, so he'll be out there as well. Whether or not he's primarily there for special teams, we'll have to wait and see. He did play a lot of special teams during the preseason, so I'm not sure what his purpose will be in the game plan, but I do expect the Bills front four to be able to get it done. I just hope that the back end doesn't give up those big plays. That to me is what concerns me. I never really had that concern so much with Poyer and Hyde back there, because I just felt like they knew the game. They know football. They may not have the physical abilities that they once had, but they know how to play the game and know how to at least contain somebody like Tyreek Hill, which they've done pretty good in the past against.
They really have. They really have. No, I agree with you. I mean, it's the safety. The safeties are the biggest question on defense for this game for me, because we might have the slowest safety tandem in the league. Rapp is not fast and Hamlin is not fast. Neither were Poyer and Hyde last year, though, but like you just said, they were so instinctual and they knew how to disguise the defense so well that Tyreek Hill couldn't just take off, because whoever was high is immediately just going to shell over the top. But luckily for us, we've got two studs at outside corner, and Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas.
Yeah.
I think with their leadership and being able to just, you don't really see Benford get beat get beat deep. You don't really see Brazil get beat deep since he's been in Buffalo. They're very good at leveraging and just trying to make sure that whatever happens, at least a 9 route's not going to get, no one's going to run in a straight line directly past me. They're very good at bumping guys off their routes. So hopefully, like, this is a big game for the corners. And it really sucks having Taron out of there. But luckily for us, they only have 2 real wide receivers that they can throw to. Other than that, other than Waddle and Hill, they got Craycraft and Braxton Berrios. And Mike told me today they elevated Robbie Chosen, used to be known as Robbie Anderson, or he looks like an island boy. I don't know what his name is anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand sometimes some of these guys that keep changing their names, like Ocho Cinco. But anyways,
But at least he only did it once.
He still goes by that though.
But right, but at least it wasn't Robbie Chosen Anderson or Robbie Anderson, Robbie Chosen Anderson. Now Robbie Chosen. What's next, Robbie?
Who knows? So really quick, as far as the inactive players, it's of course we know Taron Johnson is out, Dwayne Smoot again, Javon Solomon, Vandemark, Joe Andreessen, and then Eddie Olaficio. Those are all the inactives tonight, which means Cole Bishop is in the game.
So, I didn't even make that correlation.
Yeah, so he is in the game. Cedric Van Pran Granger, your boy, is in the game as well.
That's why my arms were raised.
I figured.
So, real quick note on Van Pran Granger. I think I was right. I was telling Mike this when you were trying to figure out your computer stuff before the show. I think I was right as to why Will Clapp was elevated. It's like I mentioned it last Thursday that, or whatever show Monday on Twitter. I saw that if he was active game 1, his contract, like he was guaranteed like whatever number, 1.2 million. And look what happened. He was active game 1. And now here we are game 2. He's inactive with Van Pran Granger active. So I think that was the handshake deal that they had with Will Clapp, as to say, hey, you don't leave our practice squad. If we need you, you better be there and be square. We will give you this 1.2, whatever number it was, million. And when we need you, be there. And until then, hang out on the practice squad. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think that they're getting to keep. They basically bought a practice squad player from free agency.
Yeah. Let me ask you, as far as Van Pran, he's most likely the interior guy, so I don't think we'll see him unless maybe they would use him as a 6th offensive lineman, kind of what they did with David Edwards last year.
Well, I think that's Alec Anderson's job. I think he's got that sealed. I think the only way if we see Van Pran Granger is if two interior linemen get hurt. Other than that, because then I think Alec Anderson would then move to guard with Van Pran Granger playing center. I still think Alec Anderson would be the first guy between either guard spot or the center to come in off the bench.
Well, then let's hope that we don't see any Granger tonight.
100%.
Quick note here. Chris Brown from One Bills Live just tweeted out, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase this, but basically Josh Allen is doing warm-ups with the center, Connor McGovern. He is wearing the glove on his left hand, and he's taking snaps with his throwing hand as the top hand, which is the opposite of what they normally do. So that's a little bit of a concern, I think. It's something different. So we'll see how that plays out tonight.
I wonder if that's just a comfortability thing. Because I took snaps. I'm a right-handed I was a right-handed quarterback, and I took snaps with my right hand on top. I always figured it was dominant, but I mean, I can't remember. That was, 15 years ago. But I can't remember if it was just comfortability or if it was because it was my dominant hand or what. So you got to wonder if that's just an extra precaution, but it's clearly like not broken. We all saw the video of him walking into the stadium, whipping around his stuff, whatever. That can't be extremely heavy, but it's not. There's not a sheet of paper in there. But just the general fact that he's able to grip and hold a bag like that and whip it around, and it doesn't seem to really hurt him like that. That's the good part. I bet you that glove has some extra thick padding in it. And it's more so and they're just taking every precaution necessary.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't affect anything as far as the exchange between the center and Allen. Let's go back really quick. I want to talk about Cole Bishop for a moment. Do you think he gets in the game?
Yep, 100%.
I think he starts?
No. Nope. I would bet you that we see the same starters as last week, and I bet you that they have he and Cam Lewis. I bet you there's going to be a rotation of defensive backs between Damar Hamlin, Taylor Rapp, Cam Lewis, and Cole Bishop. I bet you there's going to be just a rotation going through there. That's how much of a void Taron Johnson left.
Well, and Cam Lewis played that spot last week pretty well, like really well, actually.
Yes.
So I personally think that's, they will stick with that. I guess I'm a little concerned with, quite honestly, both of them, Rapp and Hamlin, against the speed of the Dolphins. Kind of going back to, again, what we're talking about with Micah Hyde and Poyer. Even they don't have the physical ability to keep up with that. I mean, nobody really does, but they were intelligent enough to know how to deal with it. And I'm not saying that Rapp and Hamlin are dumb by any means, but they just don't have that same experience level. So I almost feel like having Bishop in there, while he may not have that experience either, at least physically, he can compete. He can keep up because he ran I can't remember, it was a 4.4 something, I believe. I don't think he was sub 4, but I just think physically he would be better on the field in this particular game. But then again, as I'm talking through this, I can also see where with the Dolphins and all their motion, and as you referenced eye candy, that could be an issue for him. That could cause some confusion.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about like inexperience. Then you're taking the two most experienced safeties off the field, who have at least seen this Dolphins team 3 times at least. For a rookie. And I understand like Cole Bishop may be the next Deion Dawkins. Who knows? But I'm not ready to start that journey yet. Again, like in week 2, whoever wins this game gets a huge lead in the division. Huge lead. Like this is a big hand up on for whoever wins. So I would much rather see him come in packages. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do with him. And I'm so glad. I didn't even realize that he wasn't on the inactive list. So I'm so glad that you brought that to my attention.
Yeah, I just had seen that a little bit ago. So you're right. Is the physical traits of Bishop worth the trade-off of inexperience? I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think if Hamlin and or Rapp go out there and they're getting torched and they're struggling, then you have no other option really than to try it, because those two aren't working. So hey, let's try Bishop in there and see what happens, kind of thing. I also, it's been talked about, Bishop is more of a Poyer type as far as being down in the box and helping in run support as opposed to his pass cover skills. So that could also be part of it. We don't know with the Dolphins just yet as far as the availability of Devon Achane.
He is
rolled out.
Achane is playing.
That came out because I haven't seen it yet. So there you go.
Yeah, I got the Dolphins inactive list like 5 minutes before I got ours, and I'm sitting here scrolling. I'm like, come on, like where is it?
Yeah. So again, if you look at the Dolphins, and this has been talked about before, they have all the flashy receivers, the flashy big plays, but they are in their foundation, they are a running team. So maybe Bishop could help in that regards and have him play closer to the line. I don't know. You know what? Maybe we see all three of them on the field and kind of go with that. What do they refer to that big nickel or
The
whatever?
Buffalo nickel. Well, that's
The
what I was
Buffalo.
referencing with the rotation of the safeties
Yeah.
and Cam Lewis. Is like that. Like Cam Lewis is the guy who, in my opinion, would be coming out for Colt Bishop mainly, but they would have the ability to disguise coverage even more with Bishop and and roll the safeties and Bishop and like up and down to give different looks in that sense. But that's where you got to rely on the rookie to know exactly what he's doing.
Well, I think if he's playing close to the line, more of an in the box safety, I don't think there has to be as much thinking necessarily in that role. That's more of a to me. I mean, I never played that position, but to me, it'd be more
Right.
of a read and react. Where who's got the ball, where's he going, and play that type of a role, and let Rapp and Hamlin handle more of the back end. Hamlin's a pretty physical guy in the run game too. It's his coverage skills again that kind of concern me with him. And you can say the same about Rapp. We don't really
Yep.
have, I don't think, a true cover safety on this team.
Well, that's Mike Edwards, and that's
He's
exactly why I
suspended.
thought
Well, I don't know if he's going to play or not.
he's active, but that's why I expected if he didn't get hurt, I truly think it would have been Mike Edwards and Taylor Rapp, because then we would have had like somebody who
Yeah.
is a pass coverage first safety and a run coverage first safety. No, they can do the other, but it's a bit of a drop off from what their main point of emphasis is.
Yeah. Uh, let's jump over to these other AFC East teams really quick. We've got with the Patriots 1-0, shockingly, going up against
It's,
Seattle. They are in New England. Seattle, they're an okay team. I wouldn't say they're like any kind of elite or anything. Do you? Can New England pull off another one and go 2-0?
I think they could beat the Seahawks. And if they beat the Bengals, I definitely think they could beat the Seahawks. But the Bengals defense, just bad. I mean, I understand they only gave up 16 points. And I understand the offense only scored, 10. And I'm blaming it more so on the defense, but it's just like they took a couple years, like 2 years ago, like when we were in the draft process, like I was telling you all about Daxton Hill and another safety and another guy and another guy.
Yeah.
And for the first like couple of years, I was like, look how good they are. I was like, they are studs. They're corners and safeties that they took in like the third through fifth round, and now they're like they stink. Like, so apparently, I don't always know what I'm talking about. So I think the Patriots could do it. It could also be like first game, everybody is counting us out and blah 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 blah. And we're gonna go show them, and we got a new head coach and new pieces and this and that. And okay, yeah, they went out and beat a depleted Bengals team where the vibes are terrible all around. Higgins wants a contract, Chase wants a contract, Burrow's coming off an injury and still clearly isn't right. You can see him playing with his wrist all the time. That tells you something. But the Seahawks, I think, Kenneth Walker, Animal, they have three good wide receivers. I know it's Smith and Jigba hasn't really shown it yet. I also don't think he was given the opportunity to last year. So I think he could really prove something. And they still got DK Metcalf and the Agents of Wonder and Tyler Lockett. So I still expect Seattle to win, but I wouldn't be shocked entirely if the Patriots pulled another one out.
Yeah, me neither. Seattle is 1-0. They won last week. I don't remember who they played. I don't really care to look it up. But
No.
what about the Jets? They are, I believe, they are traveling. Yes, they're traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans, who I believe are 0-1 as well.
Yep, because Will Levis sucks. Sucks. Dude makes the worst. Like, Will Levis is what people who say Josh Allen is overrated is. Like, that's what I think. Like, when I watch Will Levis play, because he can make any throw in the world. He's got a cannon for an arm. But he makes the dumbest decisions like you will ever see watching a football game. So I think the Jets are going to definitely win. They're coming off a bad loss. They're going to a team whose offense is, whole new head coach, new offensive pieces. new running back, new wide receiver, and Calvin Ridley. Their defense just is not good. So I fully expect the Jets to end up 1-1.
So we're talking. We'll have potentially 2-0 team. Well, definitely I'm going to have at least one 2-0 team, potentially 2. And then everybody else at 1-1. I guess when I look at this division, my initial thought was, and based off of what we've seen so far, I don't see the Patriots doing that and winning on a consistent basis at all. What I saw from the Dolphins against Jacksonville, honestly, was not that impressed with it. It's early in the season. And then we look at the Jets. That
was
defense
bad.
was horrendous last week.
The whole team just looked bad. I mean, Garrett Wilson hyper-targeted in the first quarter, 4 catches, 55 yards. Well, I think he had 1, maybe 2 catches the rest of the game.
Well, and Rodgers is talking about wanting to get the ball to him more often. And it felt like
I'd hope so.
Game that he was the only one he was throwing it to sometimes.
Well, did you see the breakdown of Rodgers' throws to where I think it was every single throw except for some absurd number of 3 went to the left side of the field. Whoever was over there, whether it was Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, I don't know any of their other wide receivers, so whoever else it was, he only threw to the left side.
It's crazy. It was an interesting game to watch. And I think the more surprising part of it really for me was that defense. That's supposed to be one of the elite defenses of the NFL. And they look like hot garbage.
Again, though, in their defense, I mean, they did go against the well-oiled machine of the 49ers. So
I know, but if you're going to talk about Super Bowl and you're the Super Bowl champions of the summer, you're at least going to compete. They didn't compete. They seriously, they look like the Giants out there on the defensive side of the ball. And a team that's battling for the number 1 pick in the draft next year, they look bad. Now, I do know Sauce Gardner was out of the game a little bit off and on. I did see that Mosley was out of the game off and on. I don't know if Mosley ever got back into the game later or not. But still, if your defense is predicated on 1 or 2 guys, that's a problem. An elite defense is because they have elite pieces all over the place and they play well together. But they let a rookie, undrafted running back just tear them apart and make them look like JV.
Don't you talk crap about the guy who won me my only fantasy league this week. I got 1 win out of 6, but it was in $100 league. So don't you talk crap to Mason.
I got 4 out of 5 wins. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
My name's Papa Ron. I live in Idaho.
See, the beautiful thing I have my camera working right now is I can give you the finger and nobody knows it.
Hey, I feel it. I can feel it in my heart.
No, I'm kidding. We got a football game to get ready for. So before we get there, it is time for our score predictions. Do we want to bring Mike in here for this?
Yep, I'm bringing him on right now.
Here we go. Mike, what's going on, brother?
You're muted, Demi. Big dummy, still muted.
It is not the Mafia cast.
I had it muted. I had the actual mic muted, but then I unmute here, and then it mutes me on the screen, and it's it's redundant.
I know, it's maddening.
But yeah, super excited for tonight. Yeah, man. Thursday night football. Think about it all day at work.
Literally.
Really quick, before we get into the score predictions, I want to say I see a lot of people that complain about Thursday night football. It's garbage football. It's this, it's that. From the player's perspective, I 100% get it. But as a fan, give me football every single day of the week. I don't care.
Yes.
Casey, we're going to start with you on the score predictions. What do you got?
I'm going to hit the over. Oh, God. I'm going to hit the over, and I'm going to say 27-32 Miami.
Yeah.
32-27 Miami.
Yep.
I mean, it's understandable. I get it. Early in the season, anything can happen, I guess. Hell can freeze over. But, Mike, what do you got?
You got to go first.
Okay, well,
No, you don't
I
have
know
to.
mine. I actually wrote mine up today, so I came prepared.
I've been thinking about it
I
for a
think
while.
it's gonna be an offensive show, 37-31 Bills.
All right.
I have to stick with the Bills until the Dolphins can prove that they can actually win.
I'm going for accuracy.
Yeah.
See.
What
do you got,
I
Mike?
want to.
I guess I'm right smack dab in the middle again. I'm a little more, I don't know, looking for accuracy, but I still think we're gonna get the dub. And I know the spread is still 2.5. Yeah, so super tight game, and I've been thinking about it for hours now. With this, and I feel like it's gonna come down to a 1-point game, and that's yeah. And I don't know. Bass is gonna have a few kicks tonight. This thing's gonna come down to like a missed kick or a safety or a 2-point. I don't know. So I'm gonna call a 1-point game and say 27-28 Bills.
Wow, that's gonna be, man. I'm getting too old for these kind of games. Speaking of which, did you guys see that the Bills set the record for the most consecutive games without losing by more than 6 points? 42 straight games. That's insane.
That is
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah. Josh Allen has a chance for setting a record today if he gets 2 plus rushing and 2 plus passing. He'd be the only player in NFL history with 5 games to do that, which would be, he's going to get that. I mean, unless, knock on wood, he gets a career-ending injury, he's going to break that record.
Right. Eventually, it'll happen.
I think it happens tonight.
Well, do we want to hear? Do we want to hear how I can make everybody some money this weekend?
Sure.
I'm
You
down
got
for
something
making
cooking
money.
up over there?
Yep.
Because I haven't got my bets in yet.
Well, Mike, I got a good one for you. An easy one that was really surprising to me is each team to score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. $5 wins you $115. I'm like, to me, that
Come on.
that just sounds like easy money, right? Like for
That's
each of these
ideal for
teams,
the scenario I just painted for this game tonight. For me.
Yeah, there you go.
right? Yeah.
With the kicking and stuff.
And then I've got one. It's a little 6-leg parlay. It's a Josh Anytime touchdown, along with him with 25 rushing yards, Kincaid 40 receiving, an A-Chain touchdown. He's getting a lot of passing work out of the slot, and he's also going to be the main running back. So I think he's going to get every opportunity that there is. Josh over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and Tua over 1.5 passing touchdowns as well. And then we've got another one, which is more of a long shot if you want to take a risk on it. I got Khalil Shakir over 3.5 catches and James Cook over 83.5 total yards. The first quarter to go over 8.5 and Cook to go over 19.5 receiving. The over on Josh Allen passing, over on his touchdowns, and a Keon Coleman touchdown.
Wow.
That will win you $425.
On $5 bet?
And a $10 bet.
Oh, on a $10 bet. All right.
But that's
me, right?
yeah. For the record, everybody, I am the king of missing by a single leg. So if you can figure out what that leg is in your bets tonight, if you follow along with me, please let me know ahead of time so I can make one more bet without
Yeah.
He's been
You got
so
the long
close
shot,
so
but then you can cover your ass too.
How many times, you guys know this, how many times did Diggs burn me by like 1 catch or 5 yards last year?
I don't know.
In
I've
that
been
Eagles
losing by
game,
like
if he
7
makes
yards.
that one catch in the overtime, I win $1,100.
That would have been nice. That would have been nice. There's some comments here. One from John. We're going to bring that back up again. Josh is 6-0 on Thursdays. Knock on wood. And we all know how that works. And yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Seeing Cole Bishop potentially in dime. I think we will see that tonight. And then yes, John, one of us is currently now writing for Sports Illustrated, and we had the web address up there.
It's Ronnie, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're looking for that.
Yeah.
We'll, of course, post the articles on our Facebook page. Search us up at the Mafia Cast. Please find us on YouTube. Search the Mafia Cast. We come right up. Give us a subscribe. We appreciate that. We're trying to grow those numbers. And, guys, we got a football game to get ready for.
Hell yeah, we do.
Dude, let's do it.
The clock's
So
ticking.
any last words, guys?
Yeah. F the Fins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big dubs tonight, man. Let's go.
Big dubs, F the Fins. Love it. All right, let's get out of here. We will see you all on Monday, potentially. I'm not 100% sure. Mike and Casey will be busy. Speaking of which, where are you guys going to be?
Oh, yeah. We're heading out to Game On Sports. Just having a little player signing out in Hamburg at the store out there near Buffalo. So, yeah, we'll be there on site.
Tell them who it is, Mike. Jesus.
I got to build the suspense. It's a new player to the team this year. Austin Johnson's going to be there. So he'll be there signing jerseys, photos, mini helmets, the usual. So, yeah, it'll be a very cool thing. John's events are great. You know, it's very, you know, it's you and the player right there. You know, you get to chat with them, and you know, it's really, really cool. It's not like these other events. You pay a bunch of money for a ticket just to, you know, get a quick photo and a signature. You know, it's more pretty chill and relaxed. So, yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Monday. And again, that's Monday. What does it start at 6 p.m.
5:30 to 7.
Yeah. So
so go down there. And more importantly than meeting the Bills player, you get to meet Mike and Casey. That right there
come
alone.
on.
Yeah.
They might give you a selfie and an autograph too, maybe. I don't know. They might charge you.
As long as you don't ask too much and bug us, you know.
As far as the Monday night show, I may go solo. I may find maybe we'll get a guest on here. We're still kind of trying to figure all that out and decide what we want to do.
Maybe one of us can hop
off and just focus on getting some of this writing content too.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll keep everybody posted on our social medias though. Let's get out of here and go watch some football, guys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Tell your friends. Screw the fish. Eat.